What is up? We are back. NBA rundown time. One of my favorite days of the week because we have the great Travis Mangone joining us. Not only going to give us the winners, but some of the game theory behind that. Just thinking through these late swaps. A lot of if-then on this show, but it's always a lot of fun. Helps us find the winners. Travis, how you doing today?
Yeah, good. A lot of NBA slates have been really frustrating lately. Just a lot of value everywhere. It's kind of annoying, and I think we're getting that again today with Jokic. We'll have to see. We'll talk about it. I know the line has moved, so curious to get your guys' take on what happens with the Jokic situation. But we got how many games? We got 2, 4. We got 7 games today, so a lot to discuss. Again, some values we'll probably talk about. I mean, Charlotte probably is going to be a big value team today. I know. Washington made a trade. Help is on the way, spread. Help is on the way to the Lakers.
We got to break the trade live on the show yesterday. I hit him with the Rui Hachimura got traded to his favorite team. He was like the Kings. I was like, nope, the Lakers. You just seen the life get sucked right out of them.
Yeah. They're going to end up being good, man. Like, I enjoyed this last year of them sucking, but I mean, like, LeBron's looking like he's like 30 years old.
AD's on his way back in.
Yeah. Did you know this is you might think this is a LeBron James team, but some might argue it's a Russell Westbrook team. I mean, all his friends are there: Thomas Bryant, Rui Hachimura, Troy Brown Jr. I mean, is this the Los Angeles Wizards we got forming here, spread?
Well, hey, but when LeBron was out and it was just AD, we had the Los Angeles Pelicans. Now it looks like it is the Los Angeles Wizards.
I'm just saying they got a lot of Wizards on that team, right? It's a little weird that all those Wizards are there. So we'll see. I mean, it just looks like Westbrook's old crew kind of getting back together. I forget who else he played with. All you need is Bradley Beal to be shipped over there, but that's probably not happening. I think the Bogdanovich thing is happening, spread. I think Bogdanovich from the Pistons, that one, I think he's going to go to the Lakers. I feel
they can get a first rounder for him.
They said somebody offered 3 first rounders for OG Anunoby last night. But my guess is that was the Knicks.
I don't think that's bad.
That was the Knicks, and that was all those heavily protected first round picks.
Yeah, it probably wasn't the Lakers.
Because those are probably going to be in the 20s, right? Please tell me it's Milwaukee. Please tell me it's Milwaukee.
They said Milwaukee. They said the Wizards turned down a 3-team trade that would have sent Hachimura to the Suns and Jay Crowder to the Bucks.
Yeah, I saw that one.
Well, that's another one. Jay Crowder could end up with the Lakers, but we could sit in the NBA trade machine forever. We should probably get started because I do have to get out of here at the hour.
Okay, one thing before we get started though.
Okay,
we got to give ourselves a pat on the back, Tyler, for running pure. So, Travis, last night on the sheet, I took under, 245 or 246 in that Kings-Grizzlies game. They scored 80 points in the first quarter. I messaged Tyler. I said, bro, they're on pace to score 320 points in this game. We're dead. I went to sleep. I wake up with a message from Tyler. We made it.
Yeah, it was pretty crazy. I mean, you ran pure for sure with the blowout run was nice for you, right? Because they took everyone out, and you got like just clowns in there chucking up the ball. So that definitely benefited you because they quit early for sure. Desmond Bane was out pretty quick.
And I do got to give credit to yesterday's guest, JC Zargo. We went head to head on the Pistons Milwaukee Bucks. Another one, right? I took another under there. The Milwaukee Bucks had 115 points at the end of the third quarter. They ended up at 280. I took an L there. We were 2-2 on the night for tags, though. So we're gonna jump right into this tonight because
should have been 2-1 if I didn't talk us into betting the Timberwolves.
Yeah, what was up with that game? I had it on, man.
Why did you bet the Timberwolves? This is
we didn't think Gobert was playing. Travis. We didn't think Gobert was playing.
It's a really easy math equation. Once you know the Gobert news, if Gobert
we didn't have the news at the time we bet.
Okay, then don't bet it. You tell everyone this is what you do. If Gobert is in, you bet the other side. If Gobert is out, you bet the Timberwolves. It's that simple. It's easy math. I did it last night. I saw the news and I said, all right, time to go bet the Rockets. We're in. Don't bet it until you have the Gobert news. That's key.
Tyler, I want to point out, though, one thing I noticed from that game. You remember how I said you can't develop too many players at the same time? You notice how much better Jalen Green looks without KPJ in the lineup?
Yeah, he's
time to ship him off,
ball
too.
Handler, yeah,
let Jalen Green develop, man. Jalen Green has a chance to be a legitimate, maybe not top 10.
You had
a
weird narrative going last night too, because you had Austin Rivers all over podcast last week talking about all these new guys coming into the NBA and how they're basically just street ballers. And then you watch the youngest team in the NBA roll it onto the floor, and one of those guys he was talking about drops 40 points on him. So yeah, a little bit of a quote unquote revenge narrative going there.
Another thing they need to do is you need the Timberwolves to ship D'Lo, Cat, and Gobert somehow and rebuild. Hit the restart button and let Ant control everything. I know I'm biased because I like him.
There's two guys that could definitely go. Gobert, I wonder if it's gonna be tough to go. It's like, if you bought a car for $80K, like you're not going to turn around and sell it for $15K.
No, that's what you do, Spread. It's called a sunk cost. This is what you do. You trade D'Lo, you trade Cat. You get a lot back for that, right? Like
Cat, you can get a ton for.
Yeah,
Cat's like a 3-4 first rounder type of guy.
And then when you get all that back, you ship Gobert and you send some of those things that you got in those trades with Gobert to help offset it. You don't send all of it.
Who would want him at this point, though? It's such a low value.
I don't know, but figure it out. That's all I'm saying. That's a bad take, I'm sure, because that's like what I say to Lakers fans. I'm like, they're always like, oh, we're gonna make a trade, and it's like, well, there's nothing to get. And I don't know what you're getting for Gobert, but the point is, you grab stuff like you trade D'Lo, you trade Cat, you get like a couple assets, and then you send one of those assets with Gobert.
I don't think D'Lo's worth that much either.
Yeah, he probably.
Can you even get a first rounder for him?
Depending on where you send him, maybe.
But who wants him? We did this before when we were talking about why the Kings traded Fox and not Halliburton. Who actually needs a point guard? Like, point guard is so deep right now.
The thing about a guy like that, like he's technically a point guard, but he could shoot the hell out of the 3-ball. You could slot him in at the 2. Like, I feel like I know he's 6'4". I default to this every time when we talk about trades. Him and Drew Holiday won't make a bad backcourt. Drew Holiday's got the defense on that side.
It's just like such like a waste of Drew Holiday though. Like I totally don't disagree with you, but then I'm just like, you could put Drew Holiday with anyone, and put Drew Holiday with me, and it'd be great. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I agree there, but we take away the guys like us, Travis, the Pat Cons, the Grayson Allens, and we give them D'Angelo Russell.
Yeah, I mean, of course, but yeah, I mean, I'm trying to think of another comp that could work out pretty well. Like, I think he could work with I think he would work on the Grizzlies because you have you'd put Bane to the 3 and then you put him at basically replace Dillon Brooks for D'Angelo Russell. That would work. It could hurt them some defensively, but they have enough defensive players where that spacing and also the double combo guard of Ja and D-Russ, it would turn D-Russ into more of a spot-up shooter that can also do some ball handling, that when you kick it out to him in the corner for that 3 or at the elbow, he can then dribble and drive in and feed open guys. So I actually think that would work. But again, I don't know how that even would match salary cap. And you could ship Tyus, right? I love Tyus, but I don't know, you're not going to re-sign him, right? He's going to walk. So
I think Phoenix is his most likely destination. They said they're
that actually makes a lot.
They're hunting for guards now with CP3's career ending up probably after this year or next year. Yeah. They said they're after Van Fleet and these guys. D'Angelo's got to be in that list.
Yeah, that makes sense.
All right. Yesterday you missed it. Mikey's just putting words in my mouth. I said Gobert would get smoked by men that actually had muscles back then. David Robinson, Karl Malone. He would get punked, man. That's a terrible take, Mikey. But we're not falling for that bait. Well, we
got to keep this moving.
We probably will at some point because I'm bad about falling.
He's gonna lose his mind halfway through this show.
Yeah,
Travis.
He's just got to. He's got to pick it up.
I got to be out of here.
The same stuff as
Let's keep us on track today. Okay,
Chicago Bulls -1.5 in Indiana taking on the Pacers. The total's 234.5. What happened with that Bulls game last night? They beat the Hawks by 10, right?
Yep.
I didn't bet on it, so I didn't watch it that much. I saw it was the NBA TV game, but I was watching the games that we had money on. Let's start with you, Tyler. What do you think now? The Bulls on the back-to-back, right? The Pacers did not play last night, so they're a little more rested. But when we're looking at this report, there still is a lot of Pacers out. Am I right here? No Halliburton still. Daniel Tice is still out. Nembhard is questionable. If he's out, that would just be terrible. What do you think of this one, Tyler?
Yeah, I mean, looking at this one, I'm going to just go right to the Chicago side. I think they win this game. I don't trust Indiana. even with Chicago being on a back-to-back, they beat up on this Indiana team recently, 5-2 ATS, 6-1 straight up in their last 7 matchups. And Chicago's killed it on the road, 6-2 ATS in their last 8 on the road. I'm going to back them against a weaker team right here. I like Vucevic's double-double and win at plus 120. And then if you wanted to get in on maybe say him to score 20 and they win plus 235. Levine to hit 4 threes and they win plus 285. It is a 234.5 total. These guys are going to be chucking shots. And maybe even coming on DeRozan. But DeRozan starts his performance doubles at 30 points and win. I don't want to go that high. So I'd probably stick to Levine and Vucevic.
All right. From a DFS perspective, how do you see this one, Travis? And I mean, are you getting in on a betting? Don't want to leave that out.
Yeah. Betting wise, I was thinking if I had to pick, it could be Indiana just because of how they don't have anyone on this bench, right? This bench is not that deep, especially second night of a back-to-back. So that's kind of something I worry about. And I think I wouldn't be shocked if Dragic sat, right? That's certainly possible. He sat last night.
He's already out.
He's already out?
He's already out.
Okay. So that's obviously news that matters. That's going to be good for guys like Patrick Williams. It's going to be good for, you can make a case it's good for Io. He's not bad, but it's he might pop as a value. I'm just torn at how to handle him. Same with Kobe White. Just guy coming off the bench. If the shots don't fall, you're screwed. And if they do fall, sometimes it doesn't even feel like it gets you there. And if he gets hot, then he has that massive game. The biggest problem you have on the Bulls is look at the price tags on Zach LaVine, DeRozan, and Vucevic. Are you comfortable with these tags? Not exactly. I don't mind Vucevic's tag at 8-9, but the problem is center is going to be deep. We'll talk about it. There's going to be tons of value there. The reason you can make a case to play DeRozan or LaVine at their prices is just small forward. The position today is not great. There's Tatum as a spend at 11-1. Then it's Kawhi, and it is the matchup against the Lakers, but you're never racing to play Kawhi at 10K, especially with Paul George being in. Jaylen Brown at 9-4. You could make a case for him depending on who's in and out for Boston. That stuff we're still waiting on, but I am a little worried about his injury situation. So I don't know. I think he's playing not super healthy. That could be wrong, but that's just my opinion. So yeah, but not racing to play him. The first small forward I kind of like is Kuzma, but we'll get to that once we kind of get to Washington. But yeah, overall, I just have trouble spending those price tags, which can be really difficult. And then we should talk about a guy who had a big game yesterday, Pat Williams. And we understand that Indiana is a team that you can target with big men or on the boards with big men. And Patrick Williams can definitely rebound. He can definitely, get the job done as a stretch 5. The question is, how much will he play as a stretch 5, right? That's the thing to kind of watch for. I assume last night you had Capella in there, and then I assume Collins was the starting 5. Let's just double check, or not starting 5, the backup 5. Yeah, they went Kaminsky for one rotation, and they said this is terrible, abandoned ship, and then they went to Collins as the backup 5, which makes a lot more sense, and that's how it matched up with Pat Williams. My question is, who will be the backup 5 on the Pacers? It'll likely be, we don't know, but it'll likely be if it's Jackson, you could then see Drummond in there, right, as the counter. So that could cut into the Pat Williams 5 minutes. I guess that's something to watch for leading up. Because I think Pat Williams could be a good value, but I also think he could be a bad one. Just kind of depends. And then Indiana, if Nembhard is out, that's going to be really massive for McConnell. But Nembhard did play with an illness last game. I assume he plays this time unless the illness is really that bad. You would assume once you play after an illness, you're good to go, but maybe the illness is kind of still causing some problems. And Nembhard did play, and McConnell still started. And TJ McConnell starting dropped the triple-double. I don't know about you guys, but it's hard to say, hey, when you get a triple-double, it's hard to just put you back to the bench, right? I know he's a vet, right? A player's coach, the guy that you probably won't complain about it, but if he starts, TJ McConnell's one of the better plays on this slate, and you can't ignore him. You can definitely like Mathurin at his price, but he healed at 6'2". He's not bad. He has a ceiling, but he also has downside too. So that's something to watch for on the slate. And if you want to make a case for Miles Turner, I think Miles Turner could have a big game. But again, the downside's there, right? Denver, he had 28.75 DK points, only 23 minutes. OKC, 20 minutes, 23.25. Milwaukee, then he drops 53. It's a very wide range of outcomes. So obviously a great tournament play, but understand what you're getting yourself into. And again, we have a lot of really good value plays at the center spot that we'll get to, or at least guys that are going to grade out as good value plays. So it just depends. So I think Turner is in play. on the Pacers side is like a tournament option. I think TJ McConnell is going to be the guy I like the most, followed by Mathurin. I think Hield isn't bad, but again, kind of like Miles Turner. Like there's upside and there's downside with him.
All right. Sounds like an interesting game that we'll be going for there. And hey, I'm not necessarily too excited to get involved in this one, but as I finish out these projections, we'll see where we land.
By the way, Michael Porter Jr. is out, which means the Jokic news could be coming here too soon. So that's more to come with the Nuggets. We'll obviously get to that game.
Do you think the Nuggets will punt it? Well, let's get to that game when we talk about it. We'll stay on track here. I'm not. Oh, Mikey's actually helping in the chat. All right.
There we go. Embiid is uncertain for Wednesday too. So there you go. We're already a step ahead of Wednesday's news.
Wow, that's Doc Rivers usually doesn't give us till about an hour before game time. The Boston Celtics are plus 2.5 in Miami, taking on the Heat. Number one, that does indicate how much better that the Miami Heat are playing as of right now. But it also indicates the Celtics have a dirty injury report. Malcolm Brogdon, questionable. Al Horford and Marcus Smart, both doubtful. Robert Williams, questionable. These are all key pieces to the Boston Celtics, especially on the defensive end. You look at the Heat. When they started the season, they couldn't defend for crap, and they've continued to get better on the defensive end as the season's gone on. So I can see why at home they're favored. Still, we got the two big hitters in there for the Celtics. They're catching 2.5. Tyler, did this injury report scare you off?
No, I mean, not really. As long as I get one of these big men on the floor, Robert Williams or Al Horford. I know Horford's doubtful. He probably isn't playing the back-to-back. If you give me Robert Williams in this game, I'm on the Celtics money line. I think they win this game outright. I know the Heat have been playing better, but Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum are going to be the best two players on the floor. My only worry, though, is if both big men are out, Bam's just going to have his way in the middle. They'll be able to run the offense all through there. There's not another big to slow him down. But give me one of them. I think they win this game. I think those two have big games. There's no props up for that side yet with all the injury news, so going to have to wait on those. But I'll be on the Celtics as long as I get a big in.
All right. What do you think of this one, Travis?
I'm just kind of scared to mess with Boston right now, so I'm a little cautious with them. So I'll probably stay away from this one here. I'll talk DFS real quick. Kyle Lowry's only 4.8, which is kind of crazy, but I'm still not really racing to play him. I'm waiting on the news for Boston. That's super important. I think you kind of have to wait on it to bet. I do think Horford misses. Horford is doubtful. I think Robert Williams will be the center in this game. Obviously, will be an interesting value play. The price is higher. It's 5.8, so it's not as much of a value as it seemed, but he'll definitely be in the conversation for sure on this slate. Malcolm Brogdon, I think, will play, and if Smart doesn't play, well, that's pretty good for Malcolm Brogdon, right? Definitely going to be some usage his way. Pretty good for Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum. Interesting spend-ups, but not guys I'm racing to get to on my teams. It's more so, hey, if I want to spend up at small forward, you have to consider them as options. If we have like a lot of value, well, then you can't ignore them. So that's kind of how I'm handling it. I'm really not playing too many Miami Heat. The one thing I should call out, though, is, listen, everyone has a price tag where, like, you just got to say, hey, like, that's kind of too cheap for someone. And 7.6, is that too cheap for Jimmy Butler? I mean, yes, it's a little more crowded there. They got all their guys back. Tyler Hero's at 6.8. I don't think I'd get to Tyler Hero at this spot. Bam is 8.1. Not dying to play Bam, but Jimmy Butler at 7.6. Don't completely ignore that. I just wish he had the small forward eligibility. He has the power forward eligibility, but yeah, I think Jimmy is not the craziest tournament play at 7.6K as a buy low spot.
All right. With that is a low price, right? That stands out to me. Obviously, you know, I'm not the expert like you.
Yeah, ownership matters though, spread. Like that.
I mean, my question is that going to come in as heavy chalk? That seems like it's a pretty low price.
Yeah, so like that, but so this is kind of like the Josh Hart situation. Like I talked with Big T about it on the Thursday show, and like sometimes like you look at like what their production is, and you're like, well, their price does make some sense. And like, to be honest, the price does make sense, but I know what his ceiling is, right? And especially in a matchup like Jimmy Butler gets up for these kind of games against other stars and stuff. So I just know the upside at 7.6 is very high. It's like Nurkic, right? You know, the floor for Nurkic is like very low. If he gets you 14 DK points, you're not surprised, but you're also not surprised if he goes out and drops 55. So that is the one thing that's really nice about Jimmy at that price. You just have to kind of understand the risk that you're embracing. And when I am embracing that risk, I want it to be a lower owned play. So that is going to be key. Please give me low ownership on him. That's what I'm kind of looking for.
All right, sounds good. Yeah, it's another game. I think it's tough to bet before the news. So let's move on, and we'll keep keep monitoring that throughout the day. Of course, this news is going to affect the daily fantasy slate as well, and no one's better at navigating this news than the team at runpuresports.com. So go ahead and join. You're going to get the updated course, and of course, the vaunted Up to Lock show, right, where they navigate the news, Travis, better than anyone in the industry. So become a member. You can join there, ask questions in the Discord, and you control Holden instead of trolling me, Mikey. Cleveland Cavaliers are -3 in New York, taking on the Knicks. The total's 221.5. Knicks catching 3 at home here, Tyler. And we have a pretty clean report. Now, Mitchell Robinson's still out, right? He's just not on this basketball monster deal. Yeah, but Donovan Mitchell, probable. Emmanuel quickly, questionable. Huge implications there for Julius Randle with Robinson continuing to be out. Dude, I just did some player prop stuff. Dude, Randle has been beasting on the boards. I like him over there on the boards. Not sure where to go to on this game, though. Of course, we're waiting on the news, as we are in most games today. Great schedule here. Hey, we should probably have more games. Where's We the People? We probably need 160 games. Let's go baseball style, right? Regardless, Tyler, what do you think about your Knicks catching 3?
Yeah, I'm going to be on the other side. I know the Cavs have sucked on the road, but this is a weird matchup. No Mitchell Robinson. The Cavs have 2 bigs. Randall's also pretty much an undersized big. He's probably about like 6'9". He's not very tall. Mobley and Allen both come in right around 7 foot. They're going to be down there. They're going to be the trees amongst the paint. I'm not as high on the Randall's rebound as you spread. I know he could still get there. He's going to be the main big man for them. But, I mean, Donovan Mitchell in the Garden is the place he wanted to play before he got traded to Cleveland. He usually tries to chuck in these spots, too. You look at his games against the Knicks, 11 3 attempts, 13 3 attempts, 12 3 attempts, 10, 9, 10. Give me that over 3.5 threes at plus 130. The dude's got a little bit of rest after not playing the last couple of games. He's in Madison Square Garden against the team he wanted to play for before the Cavs. He's going to come out and chuck. He tried to last game against the Knicks in Madison Square Garden. He scored 23 points. He shot 8 for 22. So the dude just couldn't get his shot to fall. He shot 11 threes in that game. I'll be on him there. I like his 5+ threes, and they win at plus 440. And even take a shot on him to have 40+ points, and they win, coming in at about 10-1. I think he absolutely just goes off today. He's got the rest. The Knicks are like a little weaker without Mitchell Robinson. He's due for an explosion game.
All right. These hot take there. What do you think, Travis?
I worry about the groin injury, right? Like, groins are not like the best to deal with. We've obviously seen it with Rudy Gobert. I get it. I get the whole narrative. I'm not dying to get there. If he happens to pop up, he pops up. I'll consider it, but I'm not going out of my way, just like being like lock button him in there and throw him in my lineups. I would go out of my way to look at Julius Randle setups, right? At 10K, the guy just like feels like he prints you 50 pretty much every single game. And of course, I think I rostered him the one game he didn't, right? He got the 40 spot against Washington. It was a lot of fun. Was actually one of those nights where even with that score, I still didn't do that bad. It was kind of annoying, but yeah, you obviously can make a case for some of these big men. I assume Sims starts, and he's played last game, got 33 minutes, didn't play too bad. You can make the case that he's going to be the option, and then Hartenstein has really just not done much in his role, right? He kind of stays in his role just because he steals usage away from these guys. So I think Sims is perfectly fine to throw in there. RJ Barrett at 7K, I don't hate it, but I'm not going out of my way to roster him. Again, like, he's fine. If he fits last piece in kind of guy, at small forward, I think it's perfectly fine. Brunson's someone I just don't think I'll end up getting to. I think he's not a bad play at 8K, but there's other just guards I think I'd rather go to. So that's kind of where I'm at right now on this slate with these guys. Cleveland, obviously, if Mitchell's back, that's going to hurt Karis LeVert. His price has gone up. Darius Garland is now 8.7. That hurts him. Mobley's at 6.9. It just naturally hurts all these options. I do think Jared Allen still has a ceiling at 6.4, but I don't think I need to go there. So I'm just not trying to get to too many Cleveland options today. But that's kind of it for me in this game. And betting wise, I guess if I had to pick, it'd probably be going to the Cleveland side, just because I do think you can make an argument that Evan Mobley defensively could be the guy to really slow down Randall if there's anyone right now. I mean, I know he's been incredible and all, but that's obviously someone that can do a pretty good job against the switches as well, which is where the Knicks can end up thriving. So I think overall for me, if I have to make a bet here, spread, I'd be on the Cleveland side.
All right. Two people liking the Cleveland Cavaliers there. Let's see if they can get it done on the road. Look at Mikey. After trolling yesterday, he's in here giving us good dap. Appreciate that, Mikey. Glad to see everyone in the chat. Of course, give us that thumbs up. We're here every day, Monday through Friday, going through the slate, giving you the winners. And, of course, head on over to runpuresports.com. If you're a big fan and you think that Travis is the best at navigating the news, his promo code is Travis15. If you love those,
it's not Travis 15, it's Mangone 15.
It is.
Yeah, you're trying to give him fake code spread. No, it's Mangone 15.
I'm sorry, man.
He's trying to give him fake codes, so when that doesn't work and they message him, they're like, the code didn't work. He's like, just use spread 15.
Yeah, just use spread 15.
All right, is it Tyler 15 before I give out another bad one?
Pretty sure. Unless we've been giving out the wrong ones.
I'll double check for you.
I know that I'm spread 15, so go ahead and just use one of those codes.
I'll double check and make sure, Tyler. But yours could be a different one. Let's see. I'll check for you.
It should be Wonder.
I think it's Tyler 15, but I'll just double check. I mean, it might take me a second. So.
All right. Let's continue along. What else do we got here on this slate? Another one. Wait for the freaking news. The Denver Nuggets are now -1 in New Orleans, taking on the Pelicans. Totals 230. Man, this game could be ugly. So Bones Highland questionable, Nikola Jokic questionable, Michael Porter ruled out, Peyton Watson questionable. Brandon Ingram's on this report again. He's now doubtful. Don't expect to see him, but hey, that's a sign in the right direction. Najee Marshall questionable, Zion Williamson still out. So two teams that are definitely not at full strength. Tyler, this makes it tough for me being a projections guy. Are you laughing? What's going on over there, Tyler?
No, I was laughing at our guy Mikey's code in the chat.
By the way, it is Tyler 15. So there you go. Right. You get your 15% off for all.
If you love those great parlays that Tyler throws, well, you're not a member of the Discord yet if you're using these promo codes, but you'll be able to find out. And if you want access to these winning parlays that he drops in there, go ahead, use that promo code Tyler15. But Tyler, I'm relying on you for this one because projections aren't going to help you with this game, are they? I mean, what are they even telling me? This is unbelievable here.
This game is just all over the place. What is Jokic? Okay, so Jokic is a hamstring tightness is what they're calling it. Is this more of like we're going to rest him, or is he actually hurt? Do you guys know?
I think he's actually hurt. He doesn't rest.
He could be actually hurt, but also they're rolling without him, so I don't know.
Yeah, what's the next closest team in the West? 3 games back. They can lose 1 or 2 and they'll be all right.
Yeah, I mean, but they've been winning, right? It's not like they're not winning games, and also they're playing the Pelicans, and I don't know, the Pelicans are you want to beat the Pelicans, but they're not at full strength. So if there was ever a spot where you're just take the night off, big guy, rest that hamstring, it's not messed up yet, but you could tell something's wrong with it. Just take a little break. So yeah, I think he's sitting. Also, we did get news that Ayton is now doubtful, which is it's a weird upgrade to go from out to doubtful, right?
He's playing tonight. That's what that tells me. He's gonna be one of those guys where he just slowly
becomes
questionable. He'll be questionable by 4:00, and then he'll be active by the time the game tips.
Yeah, I guess that's just an interesting one, and that changes the slate a lot, just because it's against Charlotte, and the Charlotte matchup was one where we had Jock Landale and Biyombo that were going to be probably extreme chalk options. So it's a whole new dynamic added to the slate.
All right.
But as for that side spread, the only way I'm betting this game right now, even with the Jokic news, if he's in or out, give me the McCollum props over 23.5 points, over 2.5 threes. If he does, if you get that news or any hint that he is out, I would play the performance double CJ 25 plus points and they win plus 230. I think that's worth a shot at that point.
Travis, what do you want to do here? Do you want to play some if then, or do you want to just say wait for the news and break it down and move on?
Well, so the key is we're going to get, we might find out the Jokic stuff now, but we also might find out the Jokic stuff. We'll get an update 30 minutes before the actual lock time, right? And that's important to note because we should kind of know the direction that it's going. And there's only one game that locks, that Chicago and Indiana game. when then there's like a 30-minute window of like before the game starts. So put him getting as we should have this news enough in time to be able to make the adjustments, right? So it's not like you're going to get Jamal Murray at low ownership if he ends up being out. But I do think Jamal Murray at $7K, that's still an egregious price tag. I just play him. Aaron Gordon at 6-7, pretty good play. I do think I'm trying to think of who they're going to start, right? Because they've been starting Zeke Nananji, which like I think that's fine. Could this be a spot where they play more DeAndre Jordan? It could be.
He would have to start, wouldn't you think, just to match up with Joe Val?
But he might not start. But yeah, but like when you have Jackson Hayes and Hernan Gomez, like I do think he has to play in this game. I'll call that out. Jeff Green at 3-2, he could be interesting. Kankar, I know he has been solid. Bruce Brown at 5-2, especially with MPJ out. That's going to be a pretty good spot for him. He has been really solid. I like Bruce Brown a lot. He's guard and forward eligible, so that's really encouraging. You could make a case for KCP just because he's going to play a pile of minutes. But my rankings would be it would be Jamal Murray 1, Bruce Brown 2. I think Aaron Gordon I'd put at 3. And I mean, him and Brown are pretty close. And then the fourth guy, like, so Bones Highland is questionable. And like if Bones sits, and I know he hasn't played a lot, but if Bones sits, that adds up some more opportunity for some options. Like you could make a case for 3K Ish Smith. I'm not saying I would, but it could even just help the ball handling of Bruce Brown and Aaron Gordon and Jamal, right? It's like they're just like the core pieces, kind of like with the Grizzlies. You know, everyone wants to run to play Dylan Brooks, but the core pieces are Tyus Jones, Bane, and Jaren Jackson, right? Like those are the guys that are actually getting the production. So I could see it just kind of going that way. But yeah, overall, I think you're going to want to play some Nuggets here. The Pelicans, it's interesting because Valanciunas is 6'9", and like there's opportunity for him to fail. But if there's no Jokic, you could make a case he becomes a better play. Obviously, if Jokic is in, I think the foul risk is a problem, and that's something I would think about. Najee Marshall is at 5'3", but he is questionable. If he plays, he was rolling and playing a ton of minutes and was priced up to 5'7", but now down to 5'3". That could be a nice little buyback spot that people are not really jumping back on. So I'd find him intriguing. If Marshall sits, you could make a case for a Herb Jones or a Trey Murphy. They could really come into play. I know Brandon Ingram is doubtful, not too worried about him.
Are you touching him if he plays?
What?
Are you touching him if he gets upgraded to probable here in the next 2 hours and he's good to go?
He's 7'8". He's 7'8". It's just too much.
I just know wings usually kill Denver. If he steps out on that floor, he might be putting up 50 fantasy points.
No, I think the wings against Denver, though, is the interesting point. And I'm telling you, Najee Marshall, the dude was rolling, and the projections were loving him. And then he had like one down game against Cleveland, and then Miami wasn't amazing, right? But like the dude could definitely smash in this matchup. And then he sat for the past week. Like he's just like a buyback spot, I think, that could be really good for sure. You could argue like the injuries now set him back and he kind of comes back down to earth a little bit. Yeah, you can make that case, but I don't know. I think projections might not jump on him as much, and I think he could be an interesting lower-owned play. CJ McCollum at low ownership in a back-and-forth duel of him and Jamal Murray, I actually think that's really enticing. So I actually think this spot for CJ McCollum is really, really intriguing. Is this the TNT game? I believe it is, right? Or maybe not. I think
no, I don't think it is. I think you're going to get Celtics Heat first and then Clippers Lakers second.
Okay, I thought there was a chance it could be, and then I thought Lakers and Clippers could have been I know it is the TNT game.
Yeah, Lakers Clippers is the evening one.
I thought it could have started at 10:30, right? That's why I was thinking it through like that, because you could make the case that the Pelicans and Denver would be a fun game based on how last year ended. But yeah, I do think overall, CJ McCollum at 8-2, I wouldn't sleep on him in tournaments. Like he just has upside at his price, and he will not have any ownership. And for me, how I handle Valanciunas is always how the ownership is. But obviously, it'll be a good game to target. If Jokic is out, you'll want to be on this Nuggets side, and I'll probably be slamming Jamal Murray, Aaron Gordon, Bruce Brown on a bunch of teams. I wouldn't be shocked on my two teams if it was like I had 2-2 Jamal Murray. I had I could see myself having 2-2 Bruce Brown and then like 1-2 Aaron Gordon. I could see that kind of being the mix that I go with.
All right. Yeah, definitely wait for the news game. And we'll be getting all that news and breaking it down at runpuresports.com. Make sure you become a member. But guys, we're here Monday through Friday, giving you the winners. Just give us a thumbs up. That's all we ask. Give us the thumbs up, and we're going to continue to break down these games. The Washington Wizards are +7 in Dallas, taking on the Mavericks. Tyler, a couple big men out of this game, right? No Porzingis, no Christian Wood. We know that Rui Hachimura just got sent off, so opens up some things for what Denny Avdija. I can't believe that people drafted him so high, right? Everyone wanted the next Luka,
so we get the great value version of the guy on the other side.
Yeah, I mean, it's just, not even great value, dude. It's like the
Dollar Tree version.
Market. Yeah, like
the pawn shop version.
Yeah, it's like terrible. Like you go to the flea market, you get the speaker that's like JDL or something. I mean, it's just terrible. But Washington Wizards are +7. The total's 225.5. I finally got the projections, and thank you for clearing that out. Clyde's gonna love this. I have the Mavericks by 7.1. I have them by 7.1, so not a huge edge there. And on the total, I got it over by like 1.5. Not a big enough edge to really want to fire just based off projections. Of course, if we make a narrative based or something like that, Tyler, I'll be happy to jump in. But I have this game lined pretty correctly as of right now. What do you think of my projections, and what do you think here?
Yeah, I mean, looking at this one, the first thing I picked out when I looked at this game, I see both big men are out on both sides. I know Gafford's still there. They're still going to play some Dwight Powell on the Dallas side. But Luka's going to absolutely feast on the boards. His rebounds props 10.5 at plus money. I think he triple doubles in this spot. So love that plus money on that. I like his triple double and win at plus 290. I mean, you just look at some of the stat lines he's put up against his team. He's triple doubled once against them. His last game out, he went for 22, 9, and 6, but he shot 8 for 21. And that was also in a loss. So no Porzingis on the other side. No, it's a little less motivation for him. He likes beating up on his old teammates, but there's nobody on the other side that can guard him. They're going to win this game against Washington. I think he triple doubles. I'm going to play the triple double and win at plus 290.
All right. Travis, Tyler's expecting a big night from Luka. How do you see this game?
Yeah, Luka could definitely be a good play. He's like, so he depends on the value, right? If we have value, I'm interested, but like
it seems like we're gonna have it though, right? Does that mean so? Let's just we're playing if then. We're assuming we're gonna get a lot of value out of Denver.
Well, like so, yes, but here's the thing with the value on Denver. The value on Denver is like mid-tier value, right? So if you plug in Jamal Murray, Bruce Brown, and Aaron Gordon, and then I plug in Luka.
Oh, good point. I understand.
It's at 4.6, right? And then like. So like, yes. So value is like such like a lot of people use the word value as like, oh, it's a 4K center or something like that. Like, I consider Jamal Murray like at least maybe like
mid-tier, right?
Yeah, but no, well, he's considered mid-tier, but I still consider him a value at 7K because he's underpriced, right? Like I still think it's a value. That's just my opinion on it, right? You can go to the store and let's say there's a TV that's normally $1,000 and now it's $500, right? You're like, well, that's a value. I mean, technically, because you're getting a deal.
Yeah, good point. Right.
I think you're getting a deal on Jamal Murray. I think he should be 8K, maybe even 8.5. I mean, it's just this role he has is 6. So, yeah, overall, I do think that could be one of the issues. And like with DeAndre Ayton being doubtful, and this is a whole other like piece that kind of comes into play. With him being doubtful now, you lose those center values that you were going to like on Phoenix. So now that caused me to find some other values. Now, is Daniel Gafford become that replacement value possibly in a slower pace matchup with now him likely starting with Porzingis out? Yeah, he could be the guy that you slide in there, but we'll have to see. Don't think he's a bad play. I think Kyle Kuzma at 7.9, there is upside at that price. Yes, Bradley Beal is there, but with no Porzingis, that's obviously going to help him. The problem that you run into is the pace of this game, right? It's kind of slow, and that is going to hurt him fantasy-wise. So that's the one thing I worry about. We could have some value on the Wizards side. Do you have an idea who is going to start spread? My assumption is the starting lineup is Monte Morris, Beal, either Denny or Kispert at the 3, followed by Kuzma and Gafford. I think if Denny starts, he becomes a really good value. If he does not start, I'm not interested in Corey Kispert, and I'm not dying to get the Denny. I think Gafford is intriguing and Kuzma, but that's mainly it. And I'm not racing to play these guys because again, the Dallas matchup isn't super enticing. Also, will Dorian Finney-Smith be on Kuzma or will he be on Beal this game? I assume it's Kuzma.
I think he's drawing Kuzma, and I think they're going to start Kispert. I'm pretty sure Kispert's been
really. I was going to say the other way because when I was reading all the coach quotes, it seemed like they were talking about this opens things up for Denny.
Maybe they push him into that lineup, but I've just seen the last couple of times it came across my screen, it's been Kispert.
Well, I hope you're right. It's Denny, because if it's Denny, I'm interested. And I think it's a really good spot, especially if you have Dorian Finney-Smith covering Kuzma, which, like, again, I like Kuzma and his price. I think there's upside, but Dorian Finney-Smith is not the easiest matchup. And ownership depends. Like, when I see, like, matchups that are, like, tough or easy, it always depends on the ownership for me. That's the key. That's what I want to look at, right? Like, if no one's going to play Kyle Kuzma, he's going to be 2%. It's like, okay, the dude is upside. We've seen it. He said if Jesus was covering him, he would still be shooting. So it don't matter. He don't care who Dorian Finney-Smith is. I think overall it's definitely a spot to consider some guys, but I'm not looking to load the boat on this game. And on the flip side, you could consider Dorian Finney-Smith as an option just because at 4-2, he won't kill you, but I'm not dying to get there. And when you start talking about Dorian Finney-Smith, it's probably time to move on.
Yeah, a couple things. First of all, how many of these forward picks have the Wizards flubbed? Rui, Denny, and Corey Kispert. Like, come on.
We can go back farther. Jan Vassell kid they got.
Even this year, the kid's in G League. What was his name? Out of Wisconsin or something? Johnny Davis or something?
Oh, yeah, the point guard they drafted. Yeah, so it's just their drafting has been terrible. Outside of, they grabbed the wall when they had the number 1 overall pick, but that was kind of just gifted to them. There was nobody at the top of that draft outside of him. And then they drafted Beal, so that was the only 2 picks they really got right.
Yeah, they remind me of the Kings. They just flub pick after pick. Want to get your thoughts on this prop, Tyler? I like Kuzma, and I know that he might draw the tough defensive matchup, but from what we've seen, the Wizards are selling, right? Don't they want to showcase him? Give him a lot of opportunity.
They already said he's not going anywhere.
Really? They did?
They said the reason why Rui was moved is because he's getting the extension.
Who is?
Kuzma.
Yeah.
Okay.
They're building around Kuzma and Beal.
Yeah, they finally realized that we probably shouldn't trade this guy for just a first round pick.
Kuzma. There's no reason to trade him. You build around Kuzma, you build around Beal, you have Porzingis, you kind of have a big 3. I wouldn't hate shipping Porzingis if you get something great for him. That's just me personally, but they feel like they have a big 3 on their own, and they've been trying really hard to kind of like get something decent. And I don't know if you get some filler pieces, like let's say you have Kuzma, Porzingis, and Beal, right? And we look at the Sacramento Kings and what they've done. You get like you plug in like a Kayvon Herter type guy, right? You plug in those like really good like role players and get a solid core starting 5 with a couple bench guys. That's when you can kind of just like elevate yourself and like, become like a 4 or 5 seed. And like, I don't know, again, these teams.
I don't like that core personally.
What?
I don't like that core at all personally.
The Kings core or the Wizards?
The Wizards core.
Well, what else are you going to get? That's the problem. You got any other ideas?
They should have blown it all up like 3 years ago. It's like the Beal should have been traded like in 2019.
Yes, agreed. Beal should have, but they didn't, right? And that's just what it's not the worst thing. I don't like it. I don't mind the Kuzma and Beal idea. I don't like the Porzingis one that much.
I'm kind of out on Beal at this point too. I think he's just going to continue to get worse.
I don't hate that either. I think they should have sold on him when they could have. And I don't hate the idea of like maybe like tricking people and being like, yeah, let's trade Bradley Beal now and build everything around Kuzma. Like, let's start on Kuzma as the building block. I think
that would be sweet. And nobody wants Porzingis, so Beal's
you're going to get more out of Bradley Beal in the trade packages, of course, but the price tag that comes with it too.
Trade both, right? Or if you can't trade both, that's fine. Like you ride Kuzma, you ride Porzingis out, and then once it opens up, maybe you get something better.
Madison used a keyword that we love here, Travis. Obviously it's going to be on the sheet. Dinwiddie revenge dropped 52 DK points last game against Dallas.
No, that's a great.
What do you think of some Dinwiddie revenge there? Are you redoing your projections now that you're reminded of this revenge?
No, I struggle with. Dinwiddie's fine. It's probably. I just can't get there, but I understand. But yeah, this is a tough game, and we got 2 more left, and they're good ones. So let's
get straight there. Charlotte Hornets +6 in Phoenix taking on the Suns. Total 226.5. Of course, because the season's way too long, we have to look at this injury report. LaMelo Ball's questionable. Cody Martin's doubtful. DeAndre Ayton's doubtful, but you mentioned his weird upgrade earlier. I don't even know why they put Jay Crowder on here still. Josh Okogie's in. Cam Payne's out, and Landry Shamit's out. Still these cluster injuries there at the guard, but at least they have Chris Paul back. I don't know, man. These are 2 teams that I want to fade, but I think 6 is too much for Phoenix here. I know I talked bad about Charlotte yesterday, but is Phoenix really ready to be laying 6 with no guards at all? What do you think, Tyler?
Go to Travis first so we can get the DFS breakdowns for this game and the next game, because I know there's some important news, and he's only got about 10 minutes left.
Yeah, why don't you do that, and then we can go back, Travis, if you need to jump off. So Hornets, Suns, how are you approaching this from a DFS perspective?
Yeah, Madison's going to be excited. We got revenge to talk about, right?
All right.
Can we throw back a little Chris Paul revenge spread? Huh? I mean, Chris Paul revenge against the Hornets. That could work.
Is it really revenge? Wasn't he on the Pelicans? Or
yeah, but
it was
the New Orleans Hornets, right, or whatever at the time. Or so it technically is revenge, right? I mean, technically.
Same logo revenge, I guess.
Yeah, one more piece of revenge is Bismack Biyombo. Huh? I mean, Bismack. Now it's if Ayton sits, right? If Ayton sits, that's intriguing at 3.6K, but Jock Landale at 3.7 is kind of intriguing too, and they're at similar prices where like you could play the ownership game later on in the night, right? Like let's say you're sitting on Bismack Biyombo and you feel like you're behind. Okay, make a pivot to Jock Landale. If Bismack is 45% and Landale's 15%, that gives you a chance to kind of battle back and get back in there. So I think that's important to mention. Let's see. Anything else on the Phoenix side? Phoenix is not like the most glamorous situation right now. Obviously, Charlotte is a good spot against big men. If DeAndre Ayton plays at 7-4, could you make a case for him? No ownership? You could. I'm not racing to get there. That's just going to be tough for me to pull the trigger on. On the Charlotte side, LaMelo Ball, if he sits, which certainly possible LaMelo Ball sits. I think he does. I'm sort of planning for it, but I'm not like going out of my way and saying I need to jam all these Charlotte guys. But if he does sit, Terry Rozier, 7.7K. I mean, that has to be enticing at his price tag. Should chuck the ball up a ton. I wouldn't be shocked if Gordon Hayward randomly got ruled questionable and then got ruled out during the day. I'm not saying it's going to happen, but it is Gordon Hayward and it's the second night of a back-to-back, so would not totally surprise me there. So we'll have to see. Obviously, we'll get that news in time. McDaniels at 5.2. If you have Ball sitting, well, that opens up minutes there for him, I think, overall, just in that forward situation, especially with Martin possibly out. And then you can make the case for Plumlee. Plumlee's been amazing. I like him at 6.8. He's someone I'm going to consider going back to the well on. And then Mark Williams at 3.2 is a value. Let's say you're sitting on Biyombo and, let's say Ayton ends up getting ruled in. You need a value. Mark Williams at 3.2 is not a bad option to go to. You understand that he's a good producer and he's only going to get like 18 minutes, maybe even 20. Like it's not going to be that much. But Mark Williams is producing, so don't completely sleep on him as like a contrarian value to help get you to the top if it's getting bad. But I think the Charlotte side, the LaMelo Ball news is pretty important. If LaMelo Ball is in, I am not going to be excited about a lot of these guys. I'm going to kind of gravitate away from them. But I'm assuming Ball's out. That's just my opinion on it. I don't see it happening. And then I should have mentioned Dennis Smith Jr. He is getting decent run with Ball out. I don't hate him. But he's kind of like more of like a last guy in, and I'm not super excited about it. I'll at least clarify there.
All right. Back to you, Tyler. What do you think?
Yeah, on the Charlotte game, I think I'm going to side with Phoenix here. I think they win this game. Charlotte on a back-to-back. They're not playing much defense. The one thing, though, guards have absolutely torched this Phoenix team, and they said they're hunting for new guards. One guy that was on that list was Terry Rozier. This could be a game where he shows himself to this team like, hey, come get me out of this terrible team and this terrible city. Bring me to a team that's like somewhat of a winning team. That over 2.5 threes on him at -120, I don't hate that. The dude's been absolutely chucking threes. If LaMelo plays, I like his props too because guards just dominate this Phoenix team right now. CP3 ain't covering him at all either. So love those two. The performance doubles on the other side that I would like right now, just with big men that have killed Phoenix or that have killed Charlotte, it's tough because you want to bet Biyombo and Landale right now or Craig, but the moment Ayton's rolled in, that all changes. So I'm going to leave the bigs alone for now. Cam Johnson, though, is in a nice spot because he can slide into that power forward role. He's going to shoot some threes also. Him to score 15 in Phoenix win here, +140. Him to score, let's see, where is 20+ points and they win +300. Him to hit 4 threes, which he's very capable of, and they win +270. I think that's how I'm going to come at this game is through some Cam Johnson performance doubles right now until Ayton is rolled in or out, and then I'll jump on the big man.
Yeah, I mean, Cam Johnson, great opportunity for him, and he's meant a lot to this team. We talked about how much that injury meant, and they've looked a lot better since he was in. So That's why I don't love the Hornets here. But it's still tough missing all those guards. And of course, a total of 226. Kind of interesting spot there. I had this one projected to go over, but we'll talk about that after the show, Tyler, and decide if that really deserves an RPB tag. And of course, if you want access to all those RPB tags, head on over to runpuresports.com. Use one of the promo codes. Use your favorite guy on the screen, either Tyler15, Spread15, or Mangone15. Make sure we get that right. The Los Angeles Clippers, the Battle of LA, -5 in the crypt, taking on the Lakers. Total 230. These teams have played twice so far this season. The Clippers have won both times, and I don't have the numbers off the top of my head, but going back, the Clippers have traditionally dominated this matchup since acquiring Kawhi and Paul George. Now they're laying 5. I don't know, like, how do you rate home court advantage? Doesn't seem like it's much here. I know that things get a little different there, but I'm pretty sure they're still in their same locker rooms, right? Total here is 230. Tyler, you know I want to bet on the Clippers. The projections say to take the Lakers, though. Do I use my heart or do we use mathematics?
I think you got to watch that Q tag on LeBron and see if he plays or not, because
there's no way he sits this, right?
He's playing.
He should be playing, but at the rate he is scoring the ball, he's going to break the record against OKC with Milwaukee on deck and then Golden State right after. We all know how these narratives go with these guys. He's going to sit at least one game before that to make sure he breaks that record against a good team. He's not breaking the points record in Oklahoma City, Spread. We watched Curry miss every 3 in a no-name city last year.
How many points is he away?
If he keeps averaging what he's averaging, he's going to walk into it on that Oklahoma City game.
But how far out is that?
About 200 points out.
Yeah, right around there. I'd have to get you the exact number.
Yeah, I mean, like, if he, I don't know. He would just sit against OKC. Wouldn't he just sit that game?
That's probably the game he sits, but there's going to be one of these games he sits. I don't know which one it is.
He'll sit the OKC.
It's more likely the OKC game, but
he's not sitting. He's not sitting the game after they made a trade to give him help finally. I mean,
but Rui's not playing tonight. But here's why I don't think he's sitting. It's this LA thing means a lot to both teams, don't you think?
I mean, to a point, but he's also going at it kind of shorthanded without his running mate, to where the other team has their 2 main guys.
You guys are deep in the galaxy brain right now.
All right, then you take over. Break this game down for us.
Yeah, get me out of this galaxy brain. He's playing. Help was on the way. He's not. It's like if I said, Spread, I need some help, man. I've done like 5 shows this week, and then you send me help, and then I'm like, Spread, I'm taking the next 5 shows off. I'm not right. Help is on the way. I don't know.
You can't tell me that's something LeBron wouldn't do, though. Help's here. All right, you got this.
No,
I'm going to take
he's
a break.
not. So LeBron's a good play at 11-5. The upside he has is insane. Now, could you make the case? Will he be looking over his shoulder and see Kawhi walking in and be like, shit, like always? I don't know. I don't think I'm worried about the matchups and all that stuff. LeBron's playing out of his mind right now. It don't matter to me. Kawhi Leonard, he's been playing a lot too at 10-1. I don't hate him, but also, again, I'm not racing to play him. I want to see what his ownership's going to be. I think that matters. Paul George is in there at 8-6, which is kind of a cheap price tag. These spend small forwards today, or forwards in general. It's interesting just because there's I feel like there's holes in a lot of them that I'm not dying to get to. So curious to see where the ownership shakes out, because there is a chance, of course, if we get tons of value at guard, and maybe I end up spending at forward. So that'll be intriguing to kind of see how it all plays out. I know Thomas Bryant looked incredible the other day, but I'm not racing to play Thomas Bryant in this spot. Someone I think could be a really good play, could be a great play on the night slate, great play on Showdown, and even on the main slate. Don't sleep on Zubac, right? Going up against the Lakers. I mean, Biggs, this is not a bad spot for Zubac in DFS. Maybe not a bad spot to make a bet on him on some props as well. So I think Zubac is in play. And then, I don't think I'm playing too many other of these other pieces. I think it's really looking at Zubac, looking at these spend up forwards, and that's kind of it in this game.
I mean, Travis, we'd be remiss if we didn't mention it's also a Zubac revenge game.
Oh yeah, it is.
And I think that actually it's like a real one because I mean they did give up on it. Who did they run for him instead? Who would they trade him for? It was someone terrible, like Mike Muscala or
it was Mike Muscala and another guy. I can't remember the other guy's name.
Yeah. See, the chat's all.
I think it was.
Travis.
I think it was
Look
Max.
what you've
I think
done
it was
to my
Max
chat,
Christie.
Travis. They're all sitting here just viewing everyone's thing.
Yeah, because I like that. Who doesn't like a good revenge game? It's fun. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's fun to have a good revenge game every now and then. You know.
My guy Richie Smalls, who's always reminding everyone to hit the like, agrees with you, Travis. The Zubac double is incoming. So I know we got to be quick because we got to get you out of here. Do you got a best bet for us before you log off?
Yeah, you guys can close out without me. Best bet would be last week. It was the Mavs and it hit. I will admit some of the other bets I didn't get weren't great, so that was kind of frustrating. But if I had to pick a best bet, let's we're gonna go a little off the board here. Spread. We're gonna go Pacers money line. We'll take them to upset the Bulls. Second end of it back for the Bulls. They're a little shorthanded. I'm just not a huge believer in this, in this Bulls team right now. If TJ McConnell's running the ship, I don't know, superstar subtraction, right? You know what I mean? Guys like him stepping up.
Here's the thing, the superstar subtraction, I usually only use it for the first game. After a while, these guys get worn down and their flaws get exposed.
But I'm telling you, when you get guys like TJ McConnell, hopping in there, mid-season when other guys have tired legs, they definitely help move the offense. And I also this is a game that plays to Miles Turner's strength, I think, a little bit, which he's one of your better players. And if you're missing Goran Dragic right off the bench, that's going to hurt some of those other guys. And it just gives tired legs. And on the second night of back-to-back, I think you can catch the Bulls sleeping a little bit here for sure after beating the Hawks here in this spot. So I'm going to take an upset of the Pacers here, spread money line.
All right. Travis is taking the Pacers. Travis,
Jaylen Brown just ruled out. So
wow.
I was right. He's still hurt, dude. I'm telling you. He's playing hurt. It's absurd that
the line just went off the board. It was plus 2.5. It flashed and it went off again. Let's see where it's at. Thank you for joining us, Travis.
It's all coming in. But you guys break that down when I get out of here.
We'll finish off. But thanks for joining us, and we'll be back next week. Remember, if you enjoyed this breakdown,
rolled out too, by the way. It's just
they're all
it's a tank
game.
You're gonna see Tatum ruled out too with the ribs yesterday. It's gonna just be a tank job tonight. But
man,
catch you guys later.
It's been a nice night to be a bottle girl in LA. I mean, in Miami. All right. If you enjoyed that breakdown, promo code Travis15. Mangone 15.
There you go again.
It's like a long promo code, but Tyler 15 is the one you want to use to get these parlays. Tyler, what's your best bet of the day? I'm looking over. I put the projections in right now. I'm looking over to see what the biggest edge is.
I just wanted to touch on something in that last game before our guy Tyler in the chat brought it up. Braun scored 40 against every team in the league except the Clippers. It's plus 440 tonight. Mm-hmm. It is the TNT game. Could definitely see that. I like that call. It's worth a shot, especially with him being the only guy on the offense too. But as for that game, I think it's Clippers or pass for me. You were talking about the numbers. The Clippers are 9-1 ATS in their last 10 against them, 9-0 straight up in their last 9. So they've dominated this team. The other trend too is it was they were 11-0 in their last 11 road games against the Lakers, but there is no road game here. It's all in the same arena. So I didn't take that one much into effect. So Clippers are pass for me in that game. Best bet though, I'm on Donovan Mitchell and give me that over 3.5 threes at plus 126. Give me the 5+ threes in the Cavs win, 30+ and win, 35+ and win, 40+ and win. I think he has a huge game.
All right, Tyler, I'm going to take a page out of your book because my projection, we don't have a lot, and we'll talk about what we're going to actually tag after the show. I don't have a lot of huge edges. You know what I'm going to go with? I'm going to go with the over on Kawhi. He's been absolutely smoking lately. I mean, let me pull these up, dude. It's just unbelievable what he's been doing. It feels like he's finally healthy, and we've talked about this with these players that come back from injury, how it takes them a month or two before they're back to their full strength, and I think you're seeing that here. Let me pull this up, man. Kawhi Leonard, let's look at this game log. He has 30 points against Dallas, 36 against San Antonio, 27 against Philly, 30 against Houston. The only game he wouldn't have gone over was against Denver, where he had 24, so he missed it by a point. Then he had 33. Then he had 29 the time before that. So in the month of January, he's been absolutely on fire. We'll talk about the projections after the show, get the tags up for the members of runpuresports.com. If you're not a member, head on over, join, use the promo code Tyler15 or Spread15. And, of course, guys, give us that thumbs up. I'm taking the Kawhi Leonard over on the player prop. Tyler, usually we have the guests sign us out. Do you got something for us today?
Yeah, I mean, just definitely get in the Discord. We're going to put together some more parlays. I was able to hit that one last night. It sucks. I was one of the ones I didn't put in the Discord, so kick myself in the nuts for that one. We're going to hit ourselves another one. There's a bunch of high totals again. These threes parlays on these guys with the volume. It's definitely worth a shot. So get in there. We'll have a couple built and some performance double parlays. We're turning like $10 into $1,000 a night spread.
Now let's do it. I can't wait. So, of course, head on over at runpuresports.com. Become a member. We're back tomorrow, 1 p.m. Eastern. And, man, I'm going to lift some weights tonight to try and even be close because we're going to have Mr. Jackton Tan himself, Chris Randone on. We'll be back. See you tomorrow. Run Pure. Oh, hit the thumbs